My gavel is pounding, and I'm calling the meeting to order for September 28th regular school board meeting for WEM. All board members are present, and Principal Bastine and Principal Wilson, along with Superintendent Whitehurst, are also present. By Minnesota statute, we're allowed to meet via remote meeting. Visitors are allowed to submit comments to an email line in order to have their comments read aloud at the meeting. I believe those comments are being directed currently to Clerk Schneider to be read during the meeting. The meeting is being published and will be posted online on the website. I'm jumping back to my agenda now. We've taken attendance. Are there any additional agenda items? Okay, so is there a motion to approve the agenda? Oops, I have to get back to my pictures. Okay, Jeff made the motion. Is there a second on the agenda?
I'll second it.
Okay, Jeff Stangler made the motion and Dan Houlihan seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? So did the contracts remain on the agenda? Did Travis and Jeff, did you get the contracts prior to the agenda being published? Was that something reviewed as a negotiating team? Because I know I might have missed a negotiating meeting. I'm just clarifying whether those were addressed with the negotiating team.
No.
So I guess I propose that those contracts be pulled from the meeting tonight. I believe it's 3 contracts. If the negotiating team didn't see them prior to them getting on the board agenda to review. Unless Jeff, you have something to comment.
I did not see it prior to the meeting, no.
Well, just a little minor change in the insurance language. Otherwise, the contracts were identical to the ones that were had previously from 17 to 19.
Well, that being said, we can.
Well, we can let the chips fall where they may at the voting as well, I guess. Is there any other agenda discussion? Okay, roll call vote for the agenda. Jeff?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
John?
This is as far as proposing to take them off
No, this is, I was just questioning about
or the agenda.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Dan?
No.
Jay?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Oh, your video's not functioning. Okay, and I'll say no as well. So it's 4 yes, 3 no. Motion carries to approve the agenda as presented. Okay. So then moving along on the agenda, it looks like we have some meeting minutes from August 31st, 2020. I wasn't there, so you guys will need to make a motion and
move to approve the minutes.
that was Gary.
Yep.
Second.
Okay, Gary Michael made the motion and Jeff Stingler seconded it to approve the minutes of August 31st meeting. Is there any discussion? Okay, then by roll call vote, we'll approve the minutes. Jeff,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
John?
Yes.
I'm assuming if anybody wasn't there, they're abstaining, but Dan,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
Pam is abstaining. So we have 5 yes and 2 abstain. Minutes approved. Okay, our next item on the agenda is to approve our financial transactions. Gary?
Yeah, let me know if these changed. I've got written down, I move to approve.
Let me turn up my phone. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Let me just turn up. Okay. Okay, give it a whirl, Gary.
All right. I don't think these have changed, but if they have, let me know. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I move to approve bills and payroll, $3,332,363.61. Deposits, $755,514.63. Transfers, $4,280,000.
Second.
Dang it. Okay. You guys want to discuss it?
Would you like me to bring up the ones you questioned, Gary?
I can. I don't know. Was Pam talking? Maybe I can't hear.
I couldn't hear.
Well, my discussion will be just a second. I'm gonna pull up the email. Okay. For check 79454. I had a question on that. If that was the coverage for auto insurance for the whole year, and it is. These are the questions I brought up with Margaret over email. Check 79469. Just asking her what that was for specifically. That was the HVAC work under our long-term facility plan. Check 79472 for $9,960.25. The technology. This was server repairs and maintenance work from Presidio. Check 79483. And I was questioning if that was for the building fund. That was. Hang on, yeah, because that was $122,400 for the roof. She said it's not construction. This is in our budget, which I probably should have known for long-term facility. And then the last one was 79516, $7,500, and it's a van. And that was in the budget. She indicated no. This was paid for out of the COVID grant, and the purpose of the additional van is that we can't put as many students in a van as we usually could. I asked her about the large amount of custodial supplies that you'll see in the report, financial report, and was asking if these were paid from COVID funds. clean the school. She said yes, about 20,000 for PPE, cleaning products and towels for the teachers, clean the desks, and then the no-touch faucets. And that is, other than that, we had a couple large state aid payments, and that's really all I noted.
Better go back to my camera. Any other, oh, sorry. Any other discussion? Okay, so Jay, did you second that or was it Jeff? Okay.
Jay, I'm going to forward you that email so you have it all for minutes.
Of Gary Michael making the motion and Jay Schneider seconded to approve bills payroll of $3,332,363.61. Deposits of $755,514.63 and transfers of $4,280,000. Any further discussion? Okay, then we'll do a roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Yes.
And Luann?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
And Pam, yes. 7 yes, motion carries. The next item is user comments. Are there any comments to express? There have been no visitor comments submitted.
Pam, your audio is off.
I think it's on. It's just not working right.
What's this? Audio what?
He said, Pam, your audio is not working. They all seem to be frozen.
Well, I hear you fine, Gary.
Yeah, same. I hear Jeff.
How about me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hear everybody but Pam. No.
Oh, there. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
It's kind of really creepy.
Now you're off again.
Well, yours is on.
Go ahead. Oh, technology. Okay, so we're going to approve the monetary donations. From the Minnesota Valley Credit Union for $500 and Steel Wasika Cooperative Electric for $500 scholarship donation. And then under other donations, we have Bertha Dyer with a donation of student mass.
So move.
I'll second. So Jay Schneider made the motion and Pam Baker seconded the approval of the monetary donations. Is there any, and the other in-kind donation of student mass? Is there any other discussion? I better look at it. Last call for discussion. All right, roll call vote. Jeff,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
Travis,
Yes.
Pam, yes, 7 yes. Motion for donations has been approved.
Next up is our reports.
And our first up is Bobby Joe and Jennifer.
Okay. Sounds like you can hear me. I wanted to kind of fill you in on what's been happening so far. Our students are back, and we certainly couldn't be any happier to have them back. Pre-K through 6 students have been in school every day since September 14. Things have been running relatively smoothly. The students are doing a great job of social distancing and wearing their masks. We're working out the bugs as we go, but I really feel like we've hit our stride. Things are rolling pretty good. Update on construction. Pre-K through 4 classrooms are finally finished. They look great. The students and the teachers alike are really enjoying their new accommodations. We are anxiously awaiting the completion of the addition for some new classrooms and a new entrance in our new office as well. 5th and 6th grade students, I believe, are enjoying the many improvements in Morristown, including, the junior high wing is looking great. The office is really spectacular. They're kind of back to normal for the most part over there. Preschool screening update. We had 2 dates in September, the 11th and the 16th for preschool screening. Our next preschool screening will be November 5th. So those were, the first 2 days were very successful, and we have several students on the docket for November 5th as well. School photos are coming up for us. October 2nd, pre-K through 4 students. Morristown 5-8 photos will be on October 7th tentatively. We're working out a confirmation on that time. The pre-K through 4 leadership team is meeting on October 1st. Our focus right now is kind of getting our day-to-day operations and areas of improvement and try to think about what we need to do to continue to support our teachers and our students with this crazy way of learning right now. The 5-8 leadership team met on September 14th, and their goals are very similar as well. I would like to say that all staff have worked incredibly hard to get us where we are today. So a huge thank you to all staff, teachers, to custodians, to food service, transportation. To get everything going has been quite the feat. So I thank everybody for their positive attitudes and their flexibility. I also wanted to mention a few of our new staff members have really already started to make an impact. Sarah Wested is our long-term 7th, 4th grade. Sarah Gorski, our new music teacher. Brooke Natras, 5th and 6th grade Phy-Ed and adaptive Phy-Ed teacher, as well as Patty Salmon, who is teaching 5th and 6th grade art, already have made great impressions with the students and staff and have gotten the year off to a great start. So welcome to those guys, and we're super happy to have them on board. I'll turn it over to the high school.
Sorry, I'll unmute. A lot of what I have, Bobby also said, so I'm just going to echo a few things. As Bobby said, we are super excited to have kids back in the building at the 7-12 level. We are hybrid, so our groups of students come in twice a day. To say that there weren't glitches the first week and even still remaining today would be an understatement. I think we knew that was going to happen, just finding the stride and the pattern of how to balance, the teaching model of hybrid when you have students in and out of the building, and then when we also have those distance learners. So it's a lot to wrap your head around, and I think things look great on paper, and then when you go to actually carry it out, you find out quite fast where the glitches are. And so we're doing our very best to navigate them. And from a technology side, we just appreciate the work that Dan Lemke has put in from a tech side of things, running more or less shorthanded. He's just been a rock star with that. So thank you to Dan. As we have kicked off this school year, like Bobby said, but the Morristown building looks just beautiful. I think it's really striking when you come into the building and see that new entrance and it flows through the building. And it'll be exciting to see that building totally completed at the end of next year, I believe. And even the subtle changes here that are already happening at the high school side of things, with the entry getting worked on now, and when that's all completed, it's going to look real sharp. So we're excited for that. A couple of weeks ago, Southern Minnesota Counseling Services sent out a mini video that touched on just some trauma, and it's mostly related to some of the civil unrest that we experience across the country over the last several months, but also just the disruptions with COVID and how it plays a factor in mental health and stability of people from day to day. And so sent that video, shared it out with staff. And in that video, I had a couple of staff members just respond saying thanks for sharing and that it resonated with them. I think the links are starting to come together between the professional development we had last year with Kim Campbell to Kevin Brennan this fall, and now with this video. I think the PD, the little bit at a time, speaks volumes, and it's good reminders as we go. So that's been a helpful tidbit from the counseling services that we received recently. As Bobby said, our leadership teams have all met for this month of September. So junior high and high school have met. A lot of problem solving is taking place in those leadership groups, but that's really what we need them for. And they've done a great job to step up and lead the charge within the staff. And mostly to help with the fluidity within the buildings, because it has been a big task taking on all of the guidance work. I would just continue to go on to say that our new members, the newest ones that Bobby didn't talk about that are on specifically the 712 side with Mr. Gavin and Mr. Baran, have been such awesome additions to the staff. I've done 2 observations now on our new teachers, and just stellar. Really, really great. They're new teachers to experienced teachers, and top to bottom, we're super excited to have them at WEM, and are really excited for the year to unfold with them on board. Prep ACT is coming up. We're going to host that October 6th, so next Tuesday. Ms. Jones is currently offering an ACT prep class with the focus being math, as she has done in the past, and she's working with the hybrid students in a model that meets their needs twice a week, so she's doing a great job by balancing that. 15 seniors are taking that. And then in the spring, the ACT is scheduled to occur with the junior class. Jostens was here, Palmo with Jostens, and he'll be here tomorrow as well for sophomore ring sales. And they have built-in guidance and making sure their visits are safe for students and safe for them. And then lastly, we are planning to have homecoming with the return of fall sports October 5th through the 9th. So a short turnaround there, but it's going to be the first home football game on the 9th, and if we don't do it that week, it'd be late October. We're planning to do coronation on the football field that Monday night, and we'll stick with the guidance of capacity of the field and that sort of thing, with preferential tickets going to homecoming candidate families first, and then the student body after that. So that's really what I have at the high school side, and I'm happy to talk through a little of Jeff's if he's not on yet. Unless there's any questions for 712.
I just got a comment. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Will they allow preference for senior parents for the football games, or how will that work out? I know there'll be a lineup.
Yep. So Jeff, JB is working through ticket sales. We know that we get 250 tickets or admission into the game. And so looking through a couple of different models, right. So he's looking, so 250 total, 170 for the home team. And then players, seniors and juniors will get the tickets first, X amount of tickets. And then if there's any left over after that, that'll be for student body, community at large, and that sort of thing. So I know that he's been talking with other schools to see how they're doing it, especially for the away games with less tickets, and making sure that the players are able to have the tickets that they need, especially those seniors.
You had a comment?
This will eliminate some of the fan base, as you know, especially those younger students that like to come to the games and hang out with their friends, and that's kind of the times right now. So
Thank you.
and there's no concession, right, Jeff? No concession, and the other guidance that comes with locker rooms and that sort of thing too. They'll be followed. No spectators for volleyball. We're working with the live stream to be able to offer as many games and events as possible on the live stream. Gary?
Thank you. Well, thank you for the report. Those are great reports. One suggestion I have is if you are seeing, and you make notes to glitches and some issues, we kind of want to hear about them. Not that there are some, but what are they and how to solve them. And so just keep that in mind in the future.
Oh, sure. So some of the glitches were the busing. The busing in the first few, I would say the first week, we were running a good 10 to 15 minutes behind a normal schedule. So if students were set to start school at 8:25 for the first bell, buses weren't coming in even until 8:35. So for instance, over in Morristown, they were missing their whole advisory period and sometimes coming a couple of minutes late to first period. The busing as it is, it's really relearning routes that have been in existence, what kids go on what day. And so it just slowed down busing altogether. And so after that first week, bus drivers, I believe, and I'm speaking for Travis as well, but after that first week, it seemed like bus drivers knew more of a system after having gone and through it a few times. And Travis also says that once we get out of hybrid, when we're more in an in-person model, busing will be even 15 minutes faster just because it's just more of a fluidity concern. So that was one issue. And I think the resolve is to continue to do it, to create habit. And then again, once we come into in-person, it just gets to be more effective and efficient.
I can speak for elementary just a little bit. Some of our glitches have been like serving lunch in the classroom is kind of a feat, is no small feat, and getting the timing down with cook staff and things like that. That's been a glitch that we worked through. It's more of a timing thing than anything. The cook staff's been great about figuring out how to serve a really good lunch and get it to the students in a warm and everything like that. And then the dismissal has been tricky when you have so many students and we need to social distance and get kids to buses and things like that. So it's more those kind of glitches right now. Also in the elementary, because we still have some construction happening, where we can be on the playground has been kind of a deal as well. How to navigate around big trucks and things like that, and know what areas are closed off for the day and that kind of thing. So, but it's all stuff that we can work through, and just takes time and a little bit of patience.
And for our distant learners, that first week of school, the in-person instruction, we had emphasis to our teachers that we really just wanted to set the tone for the year and welcome the kids back and just create more of a community feel to it. And the students that were distant learning still were meeting with their distant learning teacher, but as far as the content goes, there wasn't a lot of bulk in throughout their day. And so we just letting parents know or reassuring them that yes, there's not a ton of content online for their students to access, because what's going on in the classroom is more just getting to know you, going through processes and routines and that sort of thing. So it was more of a recommunication of what we had stated. So those are some examples.
Well, I guess I got one more question for you also. I know I had concerns from parents, and I did talk to Joel about it, but there was backpacks are getting super heavy for some of these high school kids. I mean, between sports, books, snacks, whatever. And then winter's coming. We're going to have boots. We're going to have snow jackets. We're going to have, at what point is it more sanitary to have lockers than not to have lockers when you got stuff thrown throughout the floor,
Right.
sitting on the floor?
I think that is more of a question for DHS and Seward County Public Health right now, lockers don't allow for 6 feet social distance gathering. It's congregated areas and it's another high touch surface. And
Yeah. I know some of the parents, they said they weigh their school bags and they're 35 pounds. So, I mean,
Yep.
that's, it gets icy out. That's going to be a safety hazard there.
we also added staffing and with leadership in Morristown and in the high school, mentioned to staff to let students know when they need their textbooks, when they don't need their textbooks. If they, in some classes, in some cases, they don't need them each day. Sending out an email, letting them know, ninth grade, you don't need your textbooks for social studies, for an example. That sort of thing, just to let them know that they don't have to carry it each day. Also, a lot of students are carrying their Chromebook in their backpack, which is another 6 to 8 pounds, and so that can be carried in their hand versus on their back.
I just see that being a problem in the winter.
Yep. Nope, I hear you.
Is Gary?
It will be an issue. And hopefully, we'll get this COVID cases counted down so we can go back to normal instruction. We're not in the hybrid.
Okay, this is a test. Can you hear me? Okay, so I have that same concern. I just am echoing that concern because not all of my ninth graders' books even fit in a single backpack. And so she's carrying around 2 extra books. And I get that you can, but how many lockers do we have access to that we couldn't go every 3rd locker or something? We don't have, can we do a different rotation of letting kids out a different way out of classes or something? I know some schools are using lockers. So is it different amounts of books from senior to 9th grade? I mean, my 9th grader has a lot, but maybe a senior doesn't have as many books. Is there some way to say 9th graders get lockers, or a different way to look at it, I guess? Or you can check out a locker if you feel you need one.
We can definitely problem solve on staff. The staggered release time, I don't know how that looks like if you let a class go 2 minutes, or 3 minutes early, and then where do they go from there? Because another class isn't coming out on time, and so we would have to study it. We'd have to look.
Yeah, that's what all I'm asking is I think it does need to have another look at it if there's a way to do something different. I don't know if their temporary lockers are even an option to try to put some down the hallway if there's temporary lockers available. I know everything seems to be at a shortage, but I'm just throwing out ideas. I'm not trying to complain. Maybe there's an idea that could work as well. So, any other questions for the principals?
I have a quick question.
Oh, wait, Dan has a question.
Yeah, a while back, and pardon me, but there's so much of an echo that I can't completely understand sometimes what people are saying. But it sounded like there was a disparity between the amount of people allowed to watch volleyball versus football. And I didn't catch that whole discussion. Is there a reason why there's a discrepancy, or is there one? I didn't hear that very well.
So the guidance for football being outside in a big stadium can hold 250. That is the same guidance that the schools that have soccer were given to start the year. Inside the gymnasium, I think they went with the same guidance for swimming for the schools that have swimming. So indoor activities could have no spectators. Where that came from, Dan, to be honest with you, I'm not really sure.
That sounds strange, because swimming, usually they have a spectator area about the size of a person's living room, and seems like we have a big gym. It wouldn't be that hard to at least get some parents and stuff in there and spread them out. Is that okay with Title IX as well? It seems as though it's biased against the female sports, but I guess I don't even know if we have. Do we even have a soccer team?
Well, we have access to one in Waseca through a cooperative sponsorship, but whether we have any students going down there, I don't think we do. And Dan, the guidance has been provided through us all through the Minnesota State High School League. They're setting the tone and setting the numbers. I know I've got a superintendent's call Wednesday, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about too as a group is how do we approach the high school league? How do we approach the legislature? Because there is some inequities there, and we're looking at it as an organization.
And I'll just mention that the Minnesota State High School League's response online was that it was a Minnesota Department of Health guideline. They were not allowed to make any differentiation. Whether I agree with that or not, I'm right with you, Dan. I agree on all your points. I think that we should, a certain number should be allowed into the gym, just like certain numbers are allowed into churches and other establishments at this time. So I think there'll be more to come as this progresses to an actual live game. So good point. Any other comments or questions for the principals? Okay, then we'll move along to, I think Jennifer touched on Mr. Baran's report. I don't believe he's online to go into any more detail about that. Don't see him raising his hand. All right. Are there any board member or committee reports? Any board member or committee reports? Okay. Okay. Moving along to Mr. Whitehurst.
Sure. A couple of items. As I mentioned previously, every Thursday we receive updates regarding our COVID counts from LeSueur County per 10,000. As a county, they've started to come back down. I've also mentioned too that as far as we're concerned as a school district, we look closely at what's going on in communities of Waterville and Elysian, and then we take a look at Rice County as a whole. So when I look back at our case counts, I'm going back to August 31st. And August 31st, Elysian had a total of 9 since the inception of the testing back in March. And then as of September 24th, they had 10. So there was 1 new case in Elysian during that time frame, a little over a month. In Waterville, it went from 32 back in at the end of August to a current number of 36. So we're looking at the potential of maybe being able to bring our 7-12 back in full time. If the numbers stay down and when I get my phone call and update next Thursday working with LeSueur County Public Health, if the numbers dictate and we are allowed, I will look to bring all students in K-12 probably the first week in October, somewhere in that area, if possible. Control what I can, but it's predicated on COVID count cases. So some good news that it's plateauing. We're staying pretty even in our communities. Morristown is right there. I think like 12 or something. Their percentages is really low in Rice County. So we may be changing our educational model in the very near future. Just kind of wanted to give everybody a heads up and something to look forward to. That's been our goal all along, is to keep everybody healthy, keep everybody safe, and look for an avenue to get students back in within the 4 walls of the buildings. As far as an update on construction is going along, everything takes a little longer than what was anticipated, but we do have all the classrooms opened up and teachers are in them. I think one of the pieces that people forget about periodically is the fact that this was a 2-summer project. The first summer being in the renovation of the elementary. That was the first main part, and to begin putting the addition on. The hope was to have that finished maybe somewhere January 1 or February 1 to maybe be able to transition into it and to make that space useful. Morristown has a few minor things left over, but for the most part, that's completed. I think our construction manager that's on site in Morristown, his last day will be October 1st, and we'll go through it and we'll put the punch list together for things that need to be completed before we finish paying out all those bills. As far as our contingency funds concerned, we are still sitting at a little over, currently at 1.1, little over $1.1 million. We haven't run into huge issues. With that being said, I know that will come down. We have run into one. We're trying to rectify in the Waterville building. That's in the mechanical room, and that's in regards to the huge panels that provide the electricity to both elementary and the high school. Those are going to have to be swapped over and taken a look at. We just have some initial numbers, but it will probably be in the $100,000 range. So I would say realistically, we probably have close to $1 million in there. But the buildings themselves look great. It's exciting. The new drop-off area has been wonderful for elementary students in Waterville. That's worked out well. The contractors, when I visit with our construction managers, they're real pleased with our contractors and how they've been good to work with, and nobody's really been slowing it down. Sometimes if you get one trade that slows it down, the next one can't get in. So that's moved along pretty well. So looking forward to, really, I'm looking forward to being finished. Construction has been, it's construction, and if any of you guys have gone through it, you know what it's like. There's something every day.
So Joel, just to clarify, October 1st, you have a meeting, and then you would be bringing students back as soon as October 5th. That's the first week of October.
I probably would look more so, maybe the 5th would be normal. This is just hypothetical now. The 5th would be normal. The 6th, we have a 2-hour late start. So that would give us a chance, at least a couple hours to get things organized. But I'd look to make the decision probably Thursday or Friday so I can get the word out so people know what's coming up.
I got a question for you. So say we open up on the 5th and the homecoming game is on the 6th, would that change our capacity at all? No. I mean, would all the kids be able to go there or just the parents? No.
I think it's just a 250 and it's.
I mean, because the kids, if we're open up 100%, what's the difference if the kids are on the field, you know?
Yeah, it's the health rule for.
It doesn't correlate. I agree. It doesn't, you know, we'll have 700 and some kids in the buildings, but only 250 at an outdoor football game.
Guess you answered my question. Sorry.
So just to be clear, we would switch the model in the middle of a week.
Well, on a Monday, right?
And we could go Monday or Tuesday. I'm looking at the opportunity a 2-hour late start would provide for us. And that's what we run into problems on the 2-hour late starts in the hybrid model. But we could certainly start, and that'd be something we talk about too with our group, and when would be the best time to implement it. But Monday would be the soonest.
Okay, any other questions about construction or distance learning or anything Mr. Whitehurst has shared with us?
Have you guys gotten any comments from parents on the drop-off area?
Other than they say it's great and they love it, no.
The only thing I've heard is a few people have said how tight it is coming in there. It seems congested, and if you got a bigger vehicle, they have a hard time maneuvering around.
Yeah, I think some of that too comes about from people not totally understanding it. Sometimes they pull into that, I'll call it a cul-de-sac, and they don't pull all the way to the front. They stop before they get to the curve to come around. So people are trying to maneuver around others. You know, we've talked about painting some lines, some arrows, some other things just to give people guidance so they know what to do. I think that's what I've seen too. You know, if I have a big Suburban and somebody's got another one and they parked not very far in, they have to go around there, and sometimes they're doubling up around each other trying to drop their young ones off. So yes. And we may need to look at, you know, as we observe, we may need to extend the sidewalk a few places along the way too. So that we'll watch it as it goes and adjust to make sure it's all safe for the students.
It's a step in the right direction. Any other questions? Okay. Let's go along to the agenda. Okay, fall enrollment numbers.
Yes, so these were official as of Friday, and we've actually picked up a student since then, so we're at 756. The budget was built on 767, so we were probably down about 11 from where I thought we would be. It's not terrible, but it's not good. Some places I know are losing a lot more students than that. In response to it, I know there was a piece of legislation that has been proposed already, holding schools harmless, because every school, for the most part, throughout the state of Minnesota is experiencing the same thing we are. So there's some legislation that's being proposed that your enrollment counts cannot go down. So they're going to hold harmless at least for the 2021 school year. Now, whether that goes through or not, I don't know, but at least people are recognizing the issues that schools are facing.
And that would be not down from what number? What would be your base number, the 767, based on your budget model?
It would be, and sometimes we'll talk about the levy too, and it might be predicated on the numbers that we submitted for a levy back in, well, we do it now for the previous year too. So they weren't real clear on that, other than referencing back to the Commissioner of Education.
Okay. Well, it's not as low as I thought it could be. Okay, everybody's excited about the renovations. That's why they're back. All right, action items. We have approved the 2021 assurance of compliance with state and federal law prohibiting discrimination.
An annual report that I submit every year that you approve at the board level.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Travis Bowman made the motion and Jeff Stangler seconded to approve the 2021 assurance of compliance with state and federal law prohibiting discrimination. Is there any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Pam, yes. Motion carries 7 yes, 7-0. Okay. The next item is approving Mr. Whitehurst as designated identified official with authority for education identity access management, Iowa. And there's no attachment for that item. It's just a.
What that is as the superintendent, I allow access to people to file their reports. Anyone who's do that, I have to submit to the state so I can continue to do it.
Okay, Jay made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Jay made the motion and Gary Michael seconded to approve Mr. Whitehurst as the designated identified official with authority for education identity access management, Iowa. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Pam, yes. 7 yes. Motion carries. All right. Now here's what we were talking about just moments ago, approving the certifying the maximum on the pay 2021 levy. Truth and taxation meeting will be conducted on December 21st at 6 p.m. in the boardroom.
So moved.
So we're just approving the date. Is that what we're doing then? Or we're certifying the maximum pay levy?
I don't, Margaret.
Yep. So there's not too much to present. We just always recommend certifying the maximum because the numbers will change between now and the meeting. That just gives the board the most flexibility when we get to December. It's a little bit of a moving target at this point as we finalize last year's numbers and gather that data, like our enrollments for the fall so far. So I can tell you, as the report states right now, for the general fund, it's $2,105,694.98. For community ed, it's $64,562.22. And for the building fund, it's $1,321,554 even. So that's a total levy of $3,491,811.20. And Jay, I'll send you those numbers so you have them. That's a 3.8% increase from the previous year. And again, as Joel stated, the fall enrollments are a little bit lower, so we do expect that number to come down the next time they run an update of the report. But by approving them or certifying the maximum, it just gives you the most flexibility at that December meeting.
Move to certify the maximum.
You make a motion, Gary? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I move to certify the maximum amount.
All right, I'll second. Gary Michael made the motion and Pam Baker seconded to approve certifying the maximum for the pay 2021 levy. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Pam, yes. 7 yes. Motion carries. All right, we have a second reading of policy 522. Title 9, sex non-discrimination policy, grievance procedure and process.
So moved.
Oh, Gary Michaels seconded it? Okay. Okay, so Jay Schneider made the motion and Gary Michaels seconded to approve the second reading of policy 522. Is there any discussion? Was this something the policy committee did, or is this like just an MSBA?
This is the MSBA recommendations to update with to keep in line with federal changes. This was something we needed to have in place.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jeff? Jeff?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
And Pam, yes. 7 yes. Motion carries. All right. Okay, personnel. Okay, here we have contracts. The first contract is business manager Margaret Jewison. Total package increase 1920 of 2.56 and 2021 of 4.19. Also noted, so that's 68,805 first year, second year 71,471. And then the health is contribution is listed as a sum not to exceed $1,077.67 for basic individual coverage and $1,094.17 for employee plus one. Sorry, I have to pull up my. Oops.
Move to approve it.
I'm sorry, didn't have my video up yet. Did you make a motion?
This is Gary. I move to approve that contract.
I second it.
So I think Gary made the motion and Jeff Stangler seconded the contract. Is there any So I will just point out that I'm not going to approve the contract. It has nothing to do with Margaret's ability or what she's doing and the pay or anything like that. It has to do with the language of the contract. I felt it should be reviewed with MSBA prior to being approved, and I felt that it should have gone to the negotiating committee prior to approval. So it has nothing to do with the amounts or anything. It just starts out talking about health insurance. There was a page missing. It refers to a matrix on the contract on the last page that we're not a part of what was uploaded to our board books to review. So that's what I'm saying to review. So no.
Hey, Pam. Got a question on that. Are we saying that the negotiation team wasn't involved in developing this contract?
Yeah, I can speak to that, Gary. There was not changes in contract language there other than the incorporation of the insurance. As a negotiating committee, they met and determined the dollar amounts for the proposals and what they wanted to see in the insurance. So that is what's in there. You know, at the same time, I will float this out. If people are uncomfortable with the contracts, I don't want any hard feelings by the people whose contracts have been voted on this. If it's something that people felt like they should have had things prior to, I don't want to put them in that situation. So, you know, maybe it might be best if we just do decide to table these contracts until next month.
I'm fine with that. I can, whatever I need to do to remove the motion, or what do we need to do to table it?
So the
You can rescind the motion, Gary.
What do we need to do to table it, Joel?
Just rescind your motion to approve the contracts, and then we can vote to just table all the contracts once it's rescinded. We'll rescind it and then vote upon it. So you would have to make the motion, Jeff would have to second it, and then we would vote on it.
Okay, make a motion to rescind it.
I'll second.
Gary Michael made the motion, and Dan Houlihan seconded to rescind the motion, original motion to approve contracts. Is there any discussion?
So all the contracts, we're not, as far as all the way through food service and everything, or we just do the top 3, 4, 5?
Here's what I would say. We have had, you know, we've got John Yankee's contract out there. Maybe it might be one that we could look at. I would say as far as the food service and the custodial one has been out there for some time. So I think you could probably go ahead with those. But as far as the others, as far as the supervisor contracts, maybe those would be the ones we look to table.
We gotta vote on the current motion.
Yeah, so the motion was Gary Michael to rescind the original motion, seconded by Dan Houlihan. Is there any further discussion about the rescinding of the motion to approve the contract? Okay, then we'll roll call vote on the motion to rescind the contract. Jeff?
No.
Gary?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Pam? Yes. 6 yes, 1 no. Motion carried to rescind the approval of the contract. Okay, so.
Do we need a motion to table the contract then for further review? If that's the case, then I'll make that motion.
So yeah, we've rescinded the motion. Now we need to table the action item. Can we table more than one of them at the same time within one motion?
You can if it's long as part of the motion.
Dan, which ones are you tabling?
Well, I don't have the thing right in front of me right now, but it seemed to me as though the one for the cooks was fine, but the others I had some concerns about.
So I'd follow up along with that, Dan. The custodial track's been out there because they've contract rather because they've negotiated kind of as a team through the local 70. The individual contracts would be a different matter. So we probably could look at the food service and custodian.
Okay.
I'm just trying to jot down the list. Okay, so we would be, in my mind, tabling Margaret's community, excuse me, I should say business manager, community ed, and food service director.
And buildings and grounds.
And okay, I'm spot on. Yeah, buildings and grounds.
Okay.
So Dan made the motion and Gary, you're seconding it? Okay. Okay, so Dan Houlihan made the motion and Gary Michael seconded to table the contracts for business manager, community ed, director, food service, director, and building and grounds supervisor. Is there any discussion?
I think it's just important to reiterate that there's no problem with the contracts per se. It's more of a procedural matter. But, you know, when we spend a year and a half negotiating this stuff, we shouldn't hurry out the contract so fast that there's errors or people don't have adequate time to review them. We've had problems with that in the past. And I think we just have to start being a little cautious with that.
I agree. It's nothing to do with the dollar amounts. It just was some of the language in there. I just felt a little uncomfortable about rushing through it tonight after seeing it on Thursday.
I do have a comment on the building and grounds contract since we're in discussion. When I look at that pay scale for Scott Allen, I wonder if that compares to other schools nearby. And because when I look at it and divide it by the hours in a year at 40 hours a week, it's not a whole lot. And I wonder if we could go back to the table on that one or look at that. I think he's making around $20 an hour. Not including the $200 a month, I guess. I guess I didn't factor that in, but. When you negotiate, has he agreed to this kind of contract?
I would assume it's on the agenda that he's read the terms of the contract.
As we said before, there weren't any changes to the contract, so they had those and they were just given their dollar amounts and then they were incorporated into their existing contracts. And all these were met with the employees, affected employees, and they did give their approval, so.
Well, he did.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Okay, we'll have a vote then, roll call vote to table those 4 contracts. Jeff?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Pam, yes. 7 yes. Motion carries. And hopefully we can get those wrapped up possibly even through the study session, depending on how quickly we can have them reviewed. Okay, so then we're jumping down to technology coordinator, John Yankee. Sorry, I didn't say anything. 2019 total package increase of 2.56%, 2021 package increase of 4.19. Putting them at 71,944 for 1920 and 74,733 for 2021. What? Oh, sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. I'm sorry, I'm reading Mr. Baran's. I apologize. I'm sorry. 2019 total package 2.56 and 2021 package 4.19. Oh, it jumps up on me when I try to click on it, that's why. It's 55,940 for 1920 and 58,762 for 2021. Sorry about that.
So move.
Second.
Okay, Travis Bowman made the motion and Jay Schneider seconded to approve John Yankee's contract. Is there any discussion? Okay, then we'll have roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
John?
Gary?
Yes.
Dan?
Dan?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes. Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Pam? Yes. 7 yes. Motion carries. Oops. Okay, so I think the next one, if I'm right, is food service workers. 1920, 1920, package increase of 3.5% and 20
Package increase of 3.5%.
Is there a motion to approve? I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, so Ian Baker made the motion, Travis Bowman seconded to approve the food service worker contract for 2019-21. Is there any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
John?
Abstain.
Dan?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Pam, yes. 6 yes, 1 abstention. Motion carries. Okay, then we have the custodial contract, 1920, 3.5%, and 2021 is a 3.5% increase, total package.
So move.
I'll second it.
Okay, Jay Schneider made the motion and Dan Houlihan seconded to approve the custodial package. Is there any discussion?
Wasn't there a little bit more to that, Joel, than just the increase, the percentage?
Well, there was something we talked about being able to utilize the salary schedule and hires. Is I think what we talked about at the group.
Right.
Was that at your last meeting?
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Pam, yes. 7 yes. Motion carries. So used to having 2 screens up at home. Okay, and then the new hires. Do we want to go through each one individually or list? You're
Group.
okay with it?
Please.
Sorry. Well, people have feelings. Does anybody have a preference? Does anybody have an objection to going through that group of the next personnel hires collectively? Okay, I will read them. Bear with me. All right. So the first one is Patty Salmon, Patricia Salmon, excuse me, art long-term sub at $151.20 per day. That contract is from September 14th to December 23rd, 2020. Jeff Belsky as a bus driver. Tom McBroom as a van driver. Paul Luter as a custodian, B22 step 5. Do we normally list the starting salary amount?
The reason they weren't put on there was we weren't sure what number to put on with the contracts being on the agenda.
Okay, sounds good. Ron Van Hout, kitchen custodian, A11, step 6. Carrie Hackney, assistant cook, A13, step 3. Elizabeth Kinsey Hawley, school psychologist assistant, $24.38 per hour.
So moved.
That was Jay Schneider making the motion, and was that Jeff Stangler seconded it? Was there? Putting words in your mouth. Okay, so Jay Schneider made the motion and Jeff Stangler seconded to approve those contracts and hires. Is there any discussion?
Just a clarification on the long-term sub for Patty Salmon. What? No, that's fine. If that position may extend.
If might be extended depending on where we're at that time. So right now we have our COVID relief funds go through the end of December. We've got some things going on out there. So the potential certainly exists to come January or December agenda. We might have her on to continue on for the remainder of the school year.
Any further discussion or questions? Okay, so roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Travis? Yes. Pam? Yeah.
Yes.
Pam, yes. 7 yes, motion carries. All right, then we jump over. We have the next item, approved FMLA, a family medical leave request from Joshua Cleaver, math instructor, beginning on or around December 2nd, 2020, and continuing for approximately 15 school days. Did I say his name right? Cleaver?
So move.
I'll second. So Travis Bowman made the motion and Pam Baker seconded to approve the FMLA for Joshua Cleaver. Is there any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Thanks. John?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Travis?
Yeah.
Pam, yes. 7 yes, motion carries. I think we're getting there. Okay. Approve Janet Jones for ACT prep class, $33.43 per hour for a total of 13 hours. I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, that was a motion by Pam Baker, second by Travis Bowman to approve the ACT prep class by Janet Jones. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Travis?
Yes.
Pam? Yes. Motion carries 7 yes, 0, 7, 0. All right, and then we're at the coaching for junior high volleyball, which we get to start today. It would be Pam Heinz at $2,261 and Lois Mossberg at $2,261. And then we have 2 junior high football coaches, Blake Baran at $2,261 and Dan Lemke at the same amount, $2,261.
Second.
Travis Bowman made the motion and Jay Schneider seconded to approve those 4 coaching positions. Is there any discussion? I'm just glad they get the opportunity. Any other discussion? All right, last one tonight. Roll call vote. Jeff?
Yes.
Erie?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Travis? Pam, yes. 7 yes. Those coaches are approved 7-0. All right. Try to watch my screen, and our next meeting is, somebody tell me, our next meeting
October 8th.
is October 8th for our study session.
and the
Yeah,
25th.
October 8th would be our study session, and our next regular board meeting is October 26th.
Motion to
Yes, please. Jay Schneider made the
adjourn.
motion, and Dan Houlihan seconded to adjourn our meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we're adjourned. Thanks so much.